to listen to it later on, you can then, listen and find what was the advice from the person or the answer to maybe you have more questions. So a huddle, many people ask me, what does the word huddle mean? Huddle is, as I see it, is when you come together and you talk to each other. Say, for instance, you are at a party and I'm standing there with a drink and two other people join me. We are huddling. That's a huddle. And obviously, if we get together to talk, then maybe it's very serious business, or it can be just greeting and, the niceties of being spontaneous at a party. How are you introduced to each other and so on. But as a business person or as an entrepreneur or a startup, whatever you want to call yourself, you need to be ready all the time to be able to speak about your company. And when you speak on a huddle, it gives you the opportunity to present your company more easily at other places. Like, for instance, a pitch event or a potential investor, anyone who's interested in your company, you must be having that information right on the ball. You must be able, like Huggy said just now, you must be able to know what is the value of your company for potential investors. You need to be able to understand that you must answer the questions if a potential investor asks a question. And it should be a question that you are familiar with. So if there's anything about your business that you are not familiar with, through the huddling that we are doing, we are hoping to make sure that you become familiar with everything around startups, and as we go along to the great growth period and then scale up. We will have different huddles for different stages of business, but right now we are working on startup first. So welcome, Elena. I see Elena has joined us as well. I would like now to hand over to my dear friend at UNDP, Geraldine Itana, who's going to take us through the word talent in the entrepreneurial space in Namibia. Over to you, Geraldine. And she's our special guest. Remember, you don't just get a person from the UN on any platform just so easily. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Auntie Jay. Thank you so much for having me on the platform this morning. Definitely a warm welcome to everybody who's participating. And if you guys could just, in your reactions, give me a thumbs up that you can hear me fine, that would be awesome.
I don't know whether you can see me, but
I can see your reaction. Yeah, Simata, thanks. Okay, cool. So you can hear me. All right, so guys, I'm gonna chat very briefly about what is talent, what defines talent, and the biggest enemy to what talent is, or the thing that holds us back from sharing our talent or living our talent, but also what is a good environment that actually fosters and grows talent. So I think it's important for us to remember, and there are so many different definitions of what talent can be. It can be a skill or an aptitude. Often people are talented in different things, right? So, and Jay was talking about a huddle, for example. And if you think about what a huddle also could be in a sports-related context, if you look at people, a scrum coming together to play rugby, that is also, or making a scrum is also a definition of what a huddle could be. It's a team coming together to do something. Now, for me, and for the sake of this session, I think it's very important to note that talent is something that is a very personal feeling, a passion, an emotion. It's something that you as an individual are very, very, it is something that drives you. It's the reason why you get up in the morning. It's something that feels good to you. It's when you do whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're playing rugby for as part of a team, whether you are leading a startup organization or company that is focusing specifically on designing dresses. The moment that it feels good to you and that you enjoy doing what it is that you're doing, that passion, that drive, it's a very personal thing. That is part of what we should actually be defining as our talents, because no one is sort of born and then immediately can play the piano straight up, Mozart. The idea around talent, I think, was always very boxed in, but the intention now, with the way that the world is changing, the way that we realize that our problems are becoming more and more complex, we have to start thinking very differently about how we define certain things, particularly stuff like talent. How do we define talent? Because anybody can be talented or skilled in anything. But the real question is, does that person have the passion? Does it make you feel really good about what it is that you're doing? Is your activity or your initiative that you're doing, does it make you as an individual feel good? So for me, for example, I think it's really important that we always take into consideration that talent should come from a space of where we create inclusivity. So if you've got a startup, and I'm going to use design, for example, dressmaking or tailoring. I think there's a special skill that comes with being able to make a dress or design a dress. But in order to get to that place where you become the next Louis Vuitton or the next Prada sort of lead in terms of design, you need to practice that skill or the talent that it is that really makes you feel good. And that practice comes with having to have a lot of patience with yourself, a lot of patience with your learning, and a lot of understanding that what I'm doing now, I've got a vision or a goal in the long run. Now, if you look at something like a rugby team that comes together and huddles, I think there's a lot of talent in a rugby team, for example, because everybody's got a different position or a different role to play. And that's what makes the team really good at winning a World Cup, for example, or whatever the case may be. So it's so important that in order for us to really make everybody's talent stand out and have that realized, you need to be within an environment that is inclusive. Your environment must sort of create a space of security that it's okay for me to learn and explore my talent, but it's also okay for me to fail. It's also okay for me to make a mistake. And that is something that for me is such a beautiful driving force working within the UN at the moment, because we've realized as the Accelerator Lab of UNDP, if we don't make mistakes, we'll never know how to get better at what it is that we're doing. Now, talent can be something that comes from, you can speak really very well, be very articulate, you can be a writer. There are all these different things that can constitute as talent. But again, like I said earlier, it's around how does it make you feel? Do you enjoy doing what it is that you're doing? Is your business really for you something that you're passionate about? Is it something that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, if I could put it that way? But I think maybe just also to draw us to what is the biggest enemy to actually showcasing your talent? The biggest enemy to that is fear. Being afraid of starting your business, being afraid of putting your idea down somewhere and actually making that idea a reality. Our fear comes from a place of feeling like if I come up with this idea, people are going to think it's not good enough. There's going to be a lot of judgment. So the fear comes from different ways. It's around how other people think about you and your perception of what people think about you. but also internally, are you ready to tackle your fear and really move on with whatever your talent or your business idea, whatever it is that you want to do, right? And it's so important that we realize the ability to foster talent should come from a space where you're able to do something, do it really very well, enjoy it. I think there's a song going around on TikTok at the moment, I love my job, something in that line, but because every day is a vacation. So if you can do your work in such a way that if you can do your work in
Natangwe or Nashingwe, please mute your mic or I'm going to mute you.
Okay, thanks. No, I mean, it's so just to track back, the point of the discussion around talent is that we all need to identify our own internal talent, and no one person has only one talent. The fact that you may be a parent, it's a skill to be able to raise a child, right? So that's, for me, that's a talent. It's, you make mistakes as you go on. Being able to write is a form of talent. Some people are just born naturally with a voice that they can sing with, but even people who have abilities where they are born with a talent for singing, that singing needs to be nurtured, and you need to create it in a space where you train and learn. There needs to be a level of persistence to ensure that you make your talent be something that stands out. It should be so extraordinary that it stands out from what is just the ordinary. If you've got a talent, a voice that is really very good, and you want to use that voice, what is it that's setting you aside? And these are some of the things you need to consider when you identify what your talent is, right? So a lot of people say, my God-given talent is this, that, and the other. But we also need to think about what are some of the talents that we've grown and learned to enhance about ourselves over the years. Like for me, I've heard the finance guys talking about being a finance. I hate. Do not come to me with a budget and a finance and a this and an analysis. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So that's a space where I have realized I cannot thrive because it's just not something that I enjoy. However, over a period of time, I've needed to learn the importance of a financial aspect to any form of business. I have to manage large UNDP related projects that come with a financial contribution in order for us to achieve a certain objective. So I've needed to sort of foster some kind of ability for me to learn about finance and all of these different kind of things, because that's part of what will make my work much more meaningful. So I think just in closing, and to the rest of the team, unless there's any other questions, the important thing is to not have that fear. And if you do have the fear of starting your business, exploring what your different talents are, my advice would be just do it. And I think so many people are sharing that message that if you don't start now, you will have 100 reasons why everybody will say no. But if you start now with whatever it is that your business idea is, talent that you want to share with the rest of the world, go ahead and do it. Because once you start learning where I made a mistake and how can I improve it for the second time around. And that builds your confidence and it takes away that sense of fear, because now you've the ability to do better the next time around. Over.
Sorry, forgot to press the button. Thank you, Geraldine. I have a lot of techies on this call right now. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So what would you say about a talent to be a techie?
So, I mean, if you're a tech person, I think there's a certain level of skill that needs to go with whatever the tech is that. So maybe you're a really good a programmer. So these guys that sit and program systems and processes, right? So in that, your talent lies with whatever is in your area of skill. So you know that you are the most likely the person that's going to be really very savvy when it comes to certain things, using applications, designing applications, creating new applications for sometimes a problem that no one would think of, right? So what I would say to a tech person around harnessing their talent is find out or find groups and parts of people who can help you mentor what your tech skills are. How can you improve and enhance and constantly, it's almost like exercising this constantly every day. Be on top of the ball when it comes to new software or new things that are being launched at a global, regional, local level. And try to figure out what can you do with your talent to make that product either better or it stands out from the rest of the crowd. So that would be my advice, would be to make sure that you're involved in the spaces where your skills as a tech, I almost want to say tech junkie, are recognized. But don't be afraid of making mistakes, because in making those mistakes with whatever it is that you're doing with your tech company or your tech startup business, that's where you will learn, okay, fine, so I did it this way now. So next time, if I try this again, I have my lessons learned. I remember from the last time, I kind of made a blunder or a disaster. Now I need to do things better the next time around. Over.
Thank you, Geraldine. Now I want to ask Gershwin and Huggy to respond to your what you had to say about finance. Please, guys. Huggy, you go first.
Well, in terms of the response, I don't really have that much to add because it was primarily covered there. I don't know, Gershon, maybe you can jump in.
Okay, but what do you think of her being negative about finances and then came to realize that she needs it in her career?
Well, for finance, it's not really for everybody. I can understand from Geraldine's background that it might not really be suited for her, and for individuals that aren't really suited. It does pay to help to get that backing, because in as much as some areas of something it's not really in your wheelhouse, in the end of the day, it is important for you to have that block covered.
Understanding.
And to get an expert to get that expert and understanding from somebody else. Because like me, I don't have a tech background, but I know, especially with this day and age, how we are all working from home and how the brick and mortar system is not really relevant anymore, how tech is becoming more and more prevalent in our society. I might not have a tech background, but at least I can surround myself with people that do have a tech background. So I think the same thing applies with finance as well.
Thank you, Huggy. What do you have to say, Gershwin? And while we are waiting for Gershwin to get ready to respond, I just want to say welcome to Lucia, Jaconia, and someone who's called Huawei, David, and Teresia. All faces on the block. Gershwin?
Hi, yes, Geraldine has explained it perfectly in terms of talents. Not everyone has the talent or the backbone for financing. But I'm glad that during the process of her establishment, she realized the importance finances play in any setup, whether it's your household finances, your business finances, project finances. It's really important. So all I can add to that is if your talent or your forte is not finance, it's always important to have that trusted individual within your team that can handle your finances and from whom you can learn from. And that is why finance people get paid so much, because in essential basis, they carry the company from start to finish. Because if anything goes wrong, finance is always the first department that has to give answers. So that's all I can add to that.
And maybe I just wanted to quickly come in there. You know, you said you raised a point around household finances, and I think it is talent to be able to manage household finances, right? Because you need to, your talent needs to come from, number one, I need to have some kind of thinking about financial acumen, right? But you also need to have a full-on understanding around how you manage your household in order to apply your resources accordingly and prioritize where you need to put your money, right? So using that example, even it's for me, for personally, and I'm over the years, so please don't get me wrong, over the years I've needed to learn finance stuff, right? From general ledgers to all of these things that the finance guys usually do. But having to bring it home to make it a little bit more personal, I have had to learn to trust my husband 100% with our budget. I'll just tell him that I need A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but I need to understand what it is that we're spending our resources on, because it will have an impact on either the children's school, or it will have an impact on whether or not the Wi-Fi was paid this month. So that's why it's so important for me to have learned, and over a period of time, you sort of become comfortable, and there's some level of routine that comes into that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Geraldine. Can you just check your chat there? I left a message for you, a very important one. I just got a notice from one of our speakers that she's not feeling well and she's right now seeing a doctor. So this is our new norm, living between doctors and the house and the office, and yeah, we just need to deal with it. So I want to thank Geraldine. Today I just want to use a second name, which is Abigail. Geraldine, for what she has shared with us on talent. And I want to tell you a little story of myself. You know, I wanted to do it in my first MBA, and they said, there's no way, especially my economics tutor said, there's no way you will be able to pass and ever get an MBA, because you never had those subjects at school. But I said to myself, if someone tells me I cannot do it, that is the time that I'm up for it, that I'm going to do it. I got myself a student, a fourth-year economics student at UNAM, and one from an investment company. And the two of them brought me up to speed that I could pass at 51.3%, not any pass rate that I ever had in my whole life. But I was so proud of myself that I attempted and understood economics and accounting after I've never had a background in it. And still my economics tutor, who was sitting in Pretoria, said to me, you will never get the same MBA. Okay, maybe my reasoning was not good enough for her, but I passed my assignments and I passed my exams. So it's there. And I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of the fact that I could tackle it and pass. So don't let, if you want to do something, an ability, or someone who's telling you don't have the the talent for economics prevent you from doing what you are doing or want to do. So for the next round, we are going to talk about people and institutions with knowledge and resources. Now, as I said, our next speaker just sent me a message to say that she is at the doctor, and I have asked Geraldine to speak to the point because she is managing a hub for UNDP called an accelerator. She can just explain a little bit about it, and then I will add on to some others, but she can also mention the other institutions who are already there to assist you. You just need to reach out to them. So over to you once more, Abigail. Geraldine, my goodness.
Don't worry, it's fine, Auntie Jay.
That's my favorite name now for you today.
Okay. All right, so just a quick one on ecosystems and institutions of support. I think if I start off, I'd like to start off by introducing the UNDP Accelerator Lab. So UNDP over the past couple of years have realized that we need to start doing business, our development work a little bit differently, because the way of doing development is changing, challenges are just becoming more and more complex. And the global UN system and UNDP then initiated what we refer to as accelerator labs. Now, the accelerator labs come from a background where we are realizing we have, as countries or UN member states, signed up to what we call the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs for short. Now, in order to achieve these SDGs, there are very ambitious targets that were set for what we want to achieve when we speak about the environment, when we speak about gender equality, when we speak about healthcare and the ability to access healthcare. Now, UNDP then said, look, we need to try and figure out what are the solutions that are happening on the ground, and how do we get these solutions to either get the attention that they deserve at a global level, or how do we get the people who are doing work to be recognized by the powers that be. Now, when I say the powers that be, that's usually the head of state or whatever the case may be. Now, the accelerator labs were launched in 2019. We figured, look, let's try to find, out of the 177 countries that UNDP operates in, we want to identify 60 accelerator labs. And we had to submit a proposal that, we've got great ideas in Namibia. We really want to support local entrepreneurs, youth, women, persons with disability to be able to achieve their full potential. And so the UNDP launched these accelerator labs, and we've now scaled the labs up into 90 different countries. 60 of those countries are in Africa and the Asia Pacific area. So, and I think in Africa, we've got about 38 countries in total. But majority of the accelerator labs are in Africa, because we realize that Africa has got so much wealth and resources and so many opportunities that often go unrecognized. So the accelerator labs were launched. We are working currently on a number of initiatives that speak to what Auntie Jay was asking around the ecosystem, right? So you need to have, our societies are made up of certain structures, whether it's family, whether it's companies, businesses. So there are certain things in place that help us have some level of accountability. Now, institutions of support would include, for example, the Accelerator Lab, where one of the things that we're working on is trying to identify with our local partner in country, MTC, how can we get MTC to start supporting local youth? And we've done a number of activities with them. So it would be, for example, we've had a couple of hackathons where we ask young people or people with innovative ideas, come forward and pitch your idea to us. So whether your idea is part of your business or startup, come to the pitch night or come to the hackathon, share your idea. And I think this is what Auntie Jay was talking about a little earlier around, you have to be ready to share with a potential investor the facts and figures around your business, because people want to understand how healthy is this idea. Is it something that I'm investing in for the long run? Is it a short-term investment? If it's a long-term investment, I want to know what are my investment returns after whatever the period of time is. So the Accelerator Labs are now working on designing with the French government, with Dololo, Namibia, the Namibia Commission on Research, Science and Technology, or NCRST. We want to start creating an ecosystem that will be a space that thrives for entrepreneurs, because everybody speaks about entrepreneurship and businesses that need to be started up, but not everybody is an entrepreneur. You can have one person that's a great entrepreneur who can employ 400 to 500 other people and have a Fortune 500 company. Or you can have multiple smaller entrepreneurs or people with some level of business acumen, but it's a skill that you need over time. You have to nurture that, right? So all of these institutions, from the Namibia Commission on Research, Science and Technology, Dololo, GIZ, have got the Startup Namibia project as well. All of these different institutions and organizations are working on different things. So everybody has their own pitch night, everybody has their own hackathon. They're doing all of these things. Where we come in is we want to now start creating some level of standard so we can organize and structure it slightly better, so that we can have an ecosystem that has, number one, the data on startups and business people with innovative ideas. And how are those innovations and ideas responding to the 17 SDGs? Because these sustainable development goals are so important for achieving things like health and well-being, making sure that everybody has access to some sort of healthcare or health services, to promote gender equality. But in doing so, do we understand what gender equality actually is? How do we ensure that people with disability actually have the access on the information that is being shared on different platforms? Because I think sometimes people with disability are left out because there's no one that is doing sign language interpretation, or they're not able to read documents and information because their computer, and now I'm speaking to the tech guys, doesn't have the necessary software that can adapt to help people with visual impairment be able to read documents off their computer, right? So you need a screen reader, all of these different things. So what are some of the solutions that can be identified to support people? Because at the end of the day, the moment when we start doing sustainable development well, we have people who are much more productive. People are coming forward with their ideas, their solutions. They're contributing to our society, which then means that makes our society safer. It makes our society more profitable, if we could say that as well, because you then have a society that's thriving and a society that is sustainable on their own solutions and terms. And it allows us then to stand up and become very independent, because then we can say, we don't need technology from way over there on the other side of the world to be brought into the country, because we've actually got the capacity to do it ourselves. So there are a number of organizations that are working towards supporting startups and people who want to have businesses. And often the information is readily available either on Facebook, Twitter, or whichever media platform you want to access. If you go to the UNDP website, you'll see different opportunities there as well. One of them that I'd like to highlight, because I work for UNDP, I'm aware of that specific one, is we refer to it as the Sustainable Development Investment Fund, which is a fund that every quarter they launch a certain thematic area, whether it's startups in tech who have to come up and provide solutions on healthcare or within the healthcare industry, there's a small seed funding or something in that line, or we connect you to people in different countries where you can learn and grow your skills in how to enhance whatever business opportunity it is that you want to share with people. But I think the most important thing about the support for that ecosystem is that we are also, as UNDP's Accelerator Lab, working tremendously hard in the background to ensure that we've got the right government policies in place, because we have to take into consideration if the government's policies do not create and safeguard and encourage entrepreneurs to come forward, then we're going to have more people who are afraid of coming forth with their ideas because, you know, it's not something that government is supporting. But we have to also take into consideration in many of these instances, our governments are actually led by the citizenry that put that government in control. And that's why I want to go back quickly to what I was saying, structures that are at play, because our structures are there to hold us accountable and they should have some form of transparency. So I think even within government, we are working with the Ministry of Trade and Industry on various initiatives to try and figure out what can we do to make the ecosystem for entrepreneurs more accessible. We must make it supportive. We must provide the necessary resources and really show to the youth and the entrepreneurs and the startups, just start with your business idea because you don't know who is out there watching you. One of the examples I want to quickly end off with before I hand over onto Jay is on the 1st of January this year, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area came into force, which basically speaks to a number, the AU came up with lots of pillars and things that need to be done. But we need to start asking ourselves the question around, if we're going to use this Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement that Namibia is a signatory to, what are some of the things that need to be put in place for young people to access or be able to do trading cross-border? Because perhaps you're a young man who's a tailor and you want to bring in material from Nigeria or from wherever in the world. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is supposed to make trading between African countries a very smooth operation. But we are finding more and more that there are so many more barriers and challenges for people to be able to trade cross-border. So when we've got challenges cross-border trading, just think about what we have in terms of challenges for trading within the Namibian, if you just circle Namibia and you look at the 14 regions of this country, what are some of the challenges, and you guys can let me know, what are some of the challenges you face just to be able to do business as a startup from one region to the next region? There are all these processes, protocols, policies, bylaws often that hinder us from doing our work. So the Accelerator Lab, institutions like Dololo, all of these different organizations are trying to work around how can we create a supportive institutional setup for entrepreneurs to thrive in their businesses. And one of them, and I can share the link with you guys just shortly. The intention is we want to have a national consultation next week, Thursday, for people to come in and listen about what are some of the challenges that are holding people back from trading cross-border. For like, if I have a business and I want to trade to Kenya, or I have I want to do business with people in another country, because you need to think about for example, the Southern African Customs Union. What does that actually mean? And what are those kind of unions' implications on your business thriving or moving forward? Do you meet all the necessary requirements? These are some of the conversations that we want to have in this national consultation. So in terms of just the support on the ecosystem, there are organizations out there that are trying to get a hold of people. I think Namibia is doing a great job in bringing young people and startups together. So again, Auntie Jay, kudos to you for always making sure that we have people participate in these conversations. Because if we don't start having these conversations now, nobody's going to have them in the next 5 or 6 years. So if you want to really make a explicit example, the people on this call right now are those future leaders that have the intention of making sure that their voices are heard. Over.
Thank you, Geraldine. Again, I wanted to say Abigail. I think from now on, I'll just call you Abigail. So thank you for that, highlighting how the UNDP Accelerator Lab is working in the ecosystem to support startups. And in doing that, they are also supporting the SDGs that they put together a few years back. I think it's now 2 or 3 years ago. And we are all, when we do something, we need to know which SDG is it that we are addressing in our effort of doing business. So make sure that you are aware. If you are not aware, please leave your contact details, like your email address, Geraldine, in the chat so that people can connect with you and understand what are they contributing to the SDGs, making it happen. So my next topic is now on-ramping, and I don't think I need to speak about it anymore because Geraldine has been telling you about on-ramping all the time during this area of where she spoke about the support system in Namibia. And it is now up to you to join and make sure that you are well aware of what is happening in our ecosystem. So I'm going to allow 1 or 2 questions now for Geraldine, and then I will ask our guest from Zambia to present her story in her small business. She's an agro producer in Zambia. Jen has, like anyone else, needs to get money somewhere to survive on because we are not funded by anyone. So we partnered with another organization in Zambia and we trained cross-border over this difficult period of time. And I think altogether with the Namibian women, 34 of them, but I saw on graduation day, there were 37. So some of the people who were part of the companies also joined on the graduation. So I would like to now open the floor for, let's take 2 questions and you can ask anything as long as it is related to what we have discussed. And we talked about talent, and now the last topic that Geraldine did was on champions in the ecosystem and how they convene entrepreneurs to become knowledgeable. And as I said earlier, when I spoke to Hagi and Gershwin, who's also on the call, I want everybody to love finance the way I love it. But it's not possible. Like Geraldine said, she doesn't love it at all, but she had to learn it. Okay. We don't love it, you don't love it like I do, but be knowledgeable about it. Be knowledgeable about the economy, be knowledgeable about everything that affects your startup. But you cannot, if you sit, like now, we are in regional lockdown, you sit at home and you do not read and you do not join calls like this one, and just expect everyone else to do your work for you. So you will never be part of on-ramping. So that is our biggest aim, to on-ramp everybody in Africa. I'm going to start a process soon because we are a network. We are going to start on a special platform to promote our one big business week in November every year. And I will spread it around my Facebook page as my personal profile, and you can join in. Anyone can become part of it, but become part of the platform, start speaking, put your ideas on what is it that you would like to do, because we as Gen, we believe we should celebrate entrepreneurs at least once a year. And celebrating your efforts is the best way that we can pay you back as community and ecosystem supporters. So over to you. Question, anyone? If you don't want to talk, please write your question, okay? I see Teresa has got her hand up. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Greetings, ma'am. It's a pleasure to join you on this forum for today. I'm joining you from Cameroon, Buea,
Wow.
Cameroon.
Welcome.
Thank you very
but your
much.
Name sounds so Namibian, not Cameroonian at all. Almost Namibian. Yeah.
Maybe that's already to show that we're already a family. That's why the name just sounds like
a Namibian. Yes.
Yeah, like a Namibian. I got the link about this through a wonderful friend, sister, and leader who've been communicating recently. Yes, Tekla Mutero.
Okay,
Namibia.
Great.
Yes, we have been in contact, and she gave me the opportunity to be part of this forum, and I'm so humbled to be here. And sorry I came in late, but I've followed through briefly on all what it entails. And as women, we all love to contribute our own little quarters to build our ecosystem. So it will be a thing of pleasure if we could really, our own voices too could be heard, and we could use our voices to contribute and build our ecosystem together. So I would just like to ask from our sister who just talked of
Geraldine.
Geraldine, yes. She talked of what the UNDP is doing. I would like to ask, she mentioned, because I heard her mention the work across the globe. Yes, African countries as well. So I don't know, I just said I should find out, being inquisitive, how can, let's say, I from Cameroon, how can we women from Cameroon be part of this or get to contribute, especially when she mentioned on what are some of the challenges that hinders us from doing our work and strive better in our own little quarters. What can we do? What are those things? Where can we come in to be reinforced so we can contribute to our ecosystem?
Thank you, Teresa. And I'm so happy that you are here. I have colleagues, wonderful colleagues in Cameroon. Please leave your email and cell number in the chat so that I can connect with you and always send you these invitations, because we have it every second week that we have a huddle.
Okay, Auntie Jay.
All right. Thank you very much. I will do just that.
Sorry, Geraldine, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you should disable your chat, because right now we can't respond to the chat. It says that your chat is disabled.
Oh, okay.
Teresia, just to give you a heads up, and you might want to reach out to UNDP in your country, there is an accelerator lab in Cameroon as well. I know I can't remember what I can't remember all of the staff's names right now. I'm sorry, it's too many to remember. But you can reach out to the Accelerator Lab in UNDP in Cameroon as well. So what will happen with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, the AEU have requested UNDP to support national consultations across all African countries. So there should either have been a consultation in your country already, or it might be something that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, because the final reporting for the consultation is due to be submitted to the AU by the end of July. So maybe just reach out to the UNDP offices in your country, and they should be able to give you more information on how they're managing those processes. Over.
Thank you, Geraldine. I've tried now the chat to enable it, but if there's someone here that can assist me, I don't see any function that says it is disabled. So just help me with that. Just raise your hand. And now, Teresia, you can lower your hand. I have our next guest in, and thank you for your response to Teresia. And as she mentioned, she also was connected. What's the other country now? The Gambia, the lady from there. We are always in connection over Africa, so please feel free to connect. Okay, in the meantime, Tekla can also share your contact details, but I really wanted to share. Can you read my chat, Geraldine?
It's disabled.
Okay.
It's disabled. I can't see any message. I can't get to send any message as well.
Yeah, that's what she said, and I tried to enable it. Let me see, there's something down here. Enable waiting room. No, I'm so sorry. I'll check it afterwards because I think I have to go into the settings on the complete Zoom to change that. Okay, I see Helena. Then my colleague. Okay, Helena, maybe you can write a chat because I made you a co-host. Another question before we go over to our guest from Zambia, and I really wanted Geraldine, I think we leave that question after Chiumfe. If you can come in and start your presentation, share your presentation on the screen so that you can start telling us about what you do in Zambia. As I said, we worked with a number of ladies, 24 Zambians and 10 Namibians in this program, and I'm amazed by what they are doing. So here she is. Talk to us.
Hello, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. It's clear.
Okay.
If you,
right,
is it possible to show your video?
I think so. Is it not on?
I can't see.
You can't. Okay, let me
ask you.
Let me just get back to Zoom. Oh. Having trouble getting back to. All right. Okay.
I'll stop my video. Maybe that'll help.
Let me just start again.
There you are. There you are.
Yes.
So there's our lovely Chiumfe Sarah Lungu. And she will tell us a story. Just introduce yourself first before you start the presentation. Okay?
Sure, no problem. Am I clear enough?
Very clear.
Yes, you are.
All right, I had to lock myself somewhere to get away from the noise. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be on the platform and to be able to connect with you all. My name is Chiobe Sarah Lungu. I am based in Lusaka, Zambia. I'm an agro processor, and I first got to know about Gen Namibia through a women organization here in Zambia called We Are I Zambia. So
okay. Just a moment. We don't have outgrowers in Namibia. Please tell us what is an outgrower.
Okay, and I'm an agro processor. So what I do is I process fruits and vegetables into products that would have a longer shelf life. So that is what my business is centered on, basically. So everything that has to do with food, everything that has to do with nutrition, everything that has to do with food preservation, looking for markets for farmers, sourcing our raw materials directly from the farmers and the like. That's the kind of environment I'm trading in at the moment. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. So I'll, without wasting much of your time, I would like to go straight into the presentation. and then we can have. Okay, let me see if I'll be able to share the screen now. My video may be disabled in the process, but I'll get it back later on. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, I'm an agro-processor and I run a business called Spar Meat Trade in Zambia. So the motivation for starting this business was to solve three critical problems. That was a lot of our indigenous Zambian foods takes forever to cook. So, and then a lot of fruits and vegetables go to waste. I believe it's not just in Zambia, but everywhere else in the world. And then the other problem that we're trying to solve was that local products of our farmers were not purchased as much and eaten more because one, of the distance where they're staying, and two, the time that it takes to cook these foods. So an example I would give you is that of a vegetable that we have here in Zambia called cassava leaves. This is a highly nutritious vegetable and it's easily accessible. The only downside is that you are unable to cook it in the shortest possible time. So what I'm showing you right now is an idea of the process that we have to go through to prepare the cassava leaves. So, first you have to pluck them, then you have to pound them, then you have to cook them for at least 1 to 2 hours to kill all the toxins in the vegetable, and then you have to serve them now. So consider a working mom, for example. She has a job to take care of, she has a household to run, she has children and a family to feed, and she cannot spend 2 hours preparing just one type of food in the kitchen. It's highly unacceptable. So I came up with a solution to try as much as possible to reduce the cooking time of such foods, to give room for the working mom to cook with ease, basically. And what I decided to do was create a product called instant cooked cassava leaves. In our native language here, we call it katapa. So it was nicknamed Katapa 15 because it cooks in 15 minutes. So this is a vegetable that's in its raw form, in its fresh form, you have to prepare it for at least 1 to 2 hours to kill the toxins. But in its processed form, you only need about 15 minutes. So you put it in a pot, put some water, cook it for 15 minutes. I've increased the shelf life from 2 days in its fresh form to 1 year in its dry form. And I have also managed to enhance the taste and add a little bit of nutritional value to it because of the ingredients that we're using to process. So that is one example of what we are doing. And another thing that we are doing to sort out the issue of wastage is preserving fruits into products that can be used and products that can be consumed in the households. And one product that we're working with is the banana jam. So bananas are one fruit that easily go to waste. And what we're doing as a business is preserving that into a very smooth and tasty jam. So you can now have the bananas for a period of 3 months and not just 2 days before they go to waste. And then we're also working with peanuts. So we use both a mixture of the fresh and the dry peanuts, and we make an energy bar that can last at least 3 months on the shelf. And due to load shedding, I don't know if this is something that you are facing in your various countries, but Zambia is greatly affected by load shedding, and that's motivated me and my partners to venture into a range of dehydrated meats. So what we're doing now is processing the meat, drying it and packaging it up so it can stay on the shelf for at least 6 months. In times where we don't have electricity, sometimes electricity will go for more than 8 hours in each day. So in times where we don't have electricity, we can't use the freezers and a lot of fresh relish goes to waste. So this would really come in handy for the business. So what we are looking at as a business is to stock at least 30 plus outlets by the end of 2021. So this is a mixture of supermarkets, retail stores near the homes, and also wholesalers as well. And in the past 1 year since we started interacting with Jane, and we've managed to make sales and revenue of more than 27,000. And the business started in 2017 with we have a sweat equity of 312,000 kwacha. And this year alone, we've invested 57,000. So the numbers here do not look very attractive, but the COVID pandemic came in and we had to cut down on sales, but we're still pushing and we're still trying to grow the business. So our target market is mostly working moms. That's who we're focused on more because they're the ones that feel the pain more. And most working moms are supermarket shoppers. So we would want to capitalize on that as much as we can and would want to supply more of the products to supermarkets so they just go to a one-stop shop and purchase everything they need. And our target market currently comprises of at least 50% of the women population in Zambia, and that's roughly over 4.5 million people who are either running a business or in employment. So how we make money is we put a 12% markup on everything that we sell. And from the time the business was started in 2017, we managed to sell at least 500 plus units of each of our products. And our early adopters were mostly students in the beginning, and we diversified into focusing on moms. And we did have a lot of bachelors as well coming on board. Our mode of advertising is through social media, but we do take advantage of food markets and we'll do product promotions there, and we'll also sell using food testing events. So we do have some competitors in the market. Farmers who I mentioned earlier to say are able to sell the raw cassava leaves, but they do not take care of the issue of time. And then we also have a company called Lukisa Farms. They are selling the pounded cassava leaves, but they also do not tackle the issue of time. So we're unique in the sense that we are able to reduce the cooking time. We are adding nutritional value. We are increasing the shelf life. And this is something that we are so proud of as a business. And it's something that has helped us, helped us scale over time. So our senior team is made up of 2 people. We have some more workers, processors underneath, but there's mostly the 2 of us running the business. So that's Mr. Delison Smuko. He's a financial consultant. He's a freelancer. He works for Inspire Trading and has his own consultancy firm as well. And then there's me as well, a trained agripreneur and the founding member of the business. So thank you so much. These are my contact details in case you want to reach out to me.
Sarah, just leave the last slide up for the contact details. I don't think they can, but they can also get it from me.
Sure, no problem. I'll have to get back to that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sarah, or like she calls herself, because we have more than one Sarah on the group. She calls herself, to me, the other Sarah. And I've learned to pronounce her name, Chumfe. So I got goosebumps again listening to you yesterday to pitch to potential investors, and again listening to you sharing your story here. Now, this is just one story from Zambia over the past 2 years that we've been doing this cross-border training. And I heard that she said, because Jen was involved and the other organization, her business started to flourish. I'm so happy to hear a good story like that. You didn't say that yesterday because it wasn't the appropriate platform. Yes, true. You need to know what to say where. So we have Geraldine has left already. Geraldine. Yeah, sorry, I wanted her to say something about your presentation and what you said, but she has another meeting that started at 1 o'clock. So thank you very much. Now the floor is open to questions for Sarah. And I think you can leave them, yeah. You see guys from Namibia, she's not single. There's a picture of her and a man holding her close to him. And I don't think it's a brother.
Sorry, you're not supposed to see that. Okay.
No questions for Sarah? I can't believe it. A comment, maybe? Teresia?
Okay. Yes, I want to give a comment.
Okay.
Go ahead, Teresia.
Okay. Wow. I really want to applaud you, Sarah, for the wonderful job you are doing. It's really wonderful. I think, in fact, it's a great idea coming to the society where, let's say, I don't know about your country, but in our country, Cameroon, where most youths are only hoping, majority of the youths are just focusing and waiting after upon graduation and waiting for the government to recruit them, to absorb them into the public service, into the government recruit. They want to be recruited into the public service and are not being creative, are not being innovative, looking for problems to identify and bring up possible solution. And in the course of bringing up this solution, you are monetizing it and making money from it. So this is really a great one to save the women, save time, women, working women, career women, and nursing mothers to save time to take care of their other activities and manage their time probably well, and in effect making money from it. It's really a great idea to see a young lady like you going into that, being solution providing to many, to society, and not just at addressing the time management aspect, but addressing the nutritive part of it, of our ecosystem as well. Is really wonderful, and I think the idea is a laudable one. I really applaud you for it. Thank you. And I just wish well, I can borrow the idea and sell to my women group, because I have an association here by name Power of a Woman's Smile, where we empower relationships and marriages. So we deal with every aspect, everything that has to do with you being able to have a successful relationship, being able to have a successful marriage, because these are some of the things. Time management. If you cannot manage your time well, you have problems managing your home, because you are working and maybe you don't have time to cook and prepare food for your children, your husband, your family. But with things like this, you can easily just buy a quick shop, as we said, one-stop shop. You just get it and you save the time when you are back home, prepare food, and you save your marriage. So it's really a great one. Thank you, and I wish you all the best in it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Teresia, thank you. Now we are moving over to our own person here, local in Namibia. We've left Zambia now, we've left Cameroon, and we are back in Namibia. And please, guys, if there's anyone, just raise your hand as we go along. We have one topic left. We heard one story now, but I wish to ask you if you would like to share your story on the next huddle. Please connect with me, and then I will allow you to be the speaker. So, Gladys, please.
Yes, how are you? I am Gladys from Zimbabwe. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Well and clear.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. I'm from Zimbabwe. I wanted to find out how we in Zimbabwe can also participate in your program.
Okay, Gladys. For now, I think it's also maybe Tekla or one of my connections in Zim that gave you, or you saw it maybe on my Facebook page. If you can tell me where you picked it up. Through Tekla.
I was connected through Tekla, yes.
Okay, great. So Zimbabwe does not have an MD yet, but they have a GEW host. I can connect you with the person. We cannot prescribe to anyone what they can do in the programs because we have several programs. The person from the country can decide on that and invite the people in his country. But you can always join us. We are open from, I think we had once Nigeria on a huddle. We had the Gambia on a huddle. Last year, when the first lockdowns hit us, we had huddles throughout the year. And that's where Tekla is very helpful. And I see she's not on the call anymore, but I can, as I say, you can give your details to Tekla, and then I will connect you with the person in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions before we move on to our next speaker? Okay. Yes, Teresa.
Yes, sorry, I don't know how, if it could be possible. I don't know whether it could be possible if
Johanna.
Sarah, I don't know how possible it is. If it
I
could
will
be
connect
possible.
the two of you. I will make sure that you connect.
All right.
Yeah, because I could see where your mind was going there. So I'll make sure that you connect with her.
Okay.
Sarah will be.
All right. But I don't know. I can still connect with you through the text messages. The chat is still disabled.
Yeah.
Like you requested for my email and contact.
Yeah, but Tekla has it, so we'll get it from there. So our next speaker, as I said, is from our group of experts, and her name is Helena Amadila, and she's going to take over from me. So she's in the acting MD capacity at the moment. We groom our MDs for a few years before we allow them to drive. So she started being acting MD last year. And when I'm not available, she will stand in for me, but she's in the grooming process. But she's also a lecturer at UNAM for adult education. So over to you, my dear friend and colleague. She is going to speak about culture and how it influences the common good in entrepreneurship. Oops, Elena. Okay.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
That's a very different face.
Yeah, it's a holiday face. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Serena Madira. Currently acting MD for GEN, Namibia, a lecturer at the University of Namibia in the Department of Higher Education and Lifelong Learning, an entrepreneur, owning Tommy's Lodge in Karibab, a guest house. And today I would be talking about a little bit about culture, how we can collaborate, cooperate, trust each other, and also give as we operate our entrepreneurial venture. We know as an entrepreneur, you can't, although you are the owner of the enterprise, you need to work with people. You can't do it alone. With that, you need to collaborate with people. You need to work together. And as we are working with people, you need to have some leadership skills or leadership abilities for you to ensure that you have built a good culture that can culminate into trusting, and also for you to be able to cooperate. And when you cooperate, of course, you need to have mutual assistance with other people that you are among the group so that the business can move forward. A culture is a very important aspect for a business, because through culture, we identify ourselves and we get to know who we are through the business, and for us to move forward. And you can't have a culture when there's no trust among the various members or staff members of the organization or the business. We need to establish a trusting culture whereby whatever information is shared should be sensitive information is shared. It should remain private, and it should not go out of the business without it being authorized if it is within, to remain within the business. So we should identify which information should remain within the business and which one should go out of the business, and how it should be communicated. So that all those aspects requires or can make up a good culture, or a culture that can enhance the performance, the brand, and also the image of the business. And as we generate, of course, now with COVID, of course, we can't generate a lot of money, but we need to be also cultivating a culture of giving. You know, in the Bible, it says that giving, it is more blessed or to give than to receive. So if we are not giving, then we might not end up also gaining, because the more you give, the more you get. We need to establish that culture so that we are able to share whatever that we get with the less fortunate, and also for our business to make maximum impact or positive impact in the communities where we are operating in. There are needs, and there are people that need our help, and with a good culture of giving, so we can at least make significant difference in the lives of those that are around us. I think with that, I have come to the end of what I wanted to share with you today.
I always forget to press Alt-A to unmute myself. Thank you very much, Elena. I am so happy that you are relaxing, because this lady works day and night. If I call her, she's in the office. If I call her again, she's back in the office. So at least I can see now you are resting for a while. And I hope that is really resting. So thank you everybody who has spoken. And I am afraid we have come to the end. We've got 2-3 minutes left of our time. So I want to ask the people who have not spoken. There's Sage still here, but he spoke about finances. Lucia, Nero, and then Simata. Shall we start with you, Simata? I know you are burning to tell us what you do. Just a few words about you and what you do.
All right, thank you, ma'am. We are doing a internet cafe business. So our business is more of taking technology, digital technology, to people in the rural areas so they can have access to information and knowledge, expose kids to knowledge so that they can have knowledge about computers at the early age on an educational level, and also on those who are more passionate about anything related to technology, they can start learning from there. Is so that when they go to varsity, they already know what they want or how to use a computer and what type of fields. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Simata. And that shows it's not just ladies on the call, although most of the presenters were ladies today. I see my colleague from, Simata, go ahead.
I think that's all in short.
Okay, great. Then I'll call on a guy, Nero. Nero, because the other one, yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah.
Nero,
so I'm just supposed to say what we do, right?
Sorry?
Okay, I'm just supposed to mention what we do, or what I do.
Yeah.
If I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay, I'm a representative of Canopus Internetworks. We help communities close the digital divide while ensuring social inclusion and equal opportunities for all. We do this through community Wi-Fi infrastructure. We help communities build internet connectivity and make it a utility for the people in the community. I hope I covered.
Are you not the guy who uses the drone technology?
Oh, no, it's not me.
Oh, okay. I deal with so many people. Sorry, I thought you were the one. Then there's a person called Nashiningwe. Can you tell us who you are and from where are you connected to us? Nashiningwe, Jafet? Okay, no response. You can unmute yourself. Oh, sorry. Okay, Lucia, would you like to introduce yourself? Lucia? Okay, also not a response. And Fina, would you like to say hello to us and tell us who you are? Okay.
Lucia.
Okay, Lucia.
Hello.
Okay, now one must speak, not both of you can speak at the same time. So Lucia,
I'm sorry, I was just, no, sorry, I was just trying to connect and
all right.
It's fine, she can go ahead.
No, but I can hear you clearly. Just speak now. Tell us who you are and what you do and where you're from.
Oh, Lucia, I'm Lucia. My name is Lucia Silas. I'm from Namibia. Actually, I'm not really connected into the community functions and so on. I was connected by Tekla. She's the one who I got the link from her. So we should always just share links to connect us to things, and then we see where we can fit in and what we can do or start up with.
Okay. So
actually,
Lucia,
what I do, I work.
What do you do?
I'm a press agent at Namibian Statistics Agency. And then on my free time, I do wigs for women and so on and so on. And ordering and selling, that's all I do.
Okay. And where are you joining us from?
I'm in Namibia. I'm in Windhoek.
Okay, in Windhoek. No, if you're in Namibia, I wanted to know where about, because I thought maybe you're from the Kavango region. Okay. Fina?
Oh, no.
Fina?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. My name is Fina Haikuyu. I'm connecting from Ludrets in Namibia. I was also, I got the link from Tekla. This is my second Gen meeting that I am attending. I just wanted to say that I'm really from Zambia, processing the cassava leaves. I have a similar idea, not necessarily on cassava, but on fish, because like to eat fish if they get the opportunity to eat it, but then so many of them don't know how to prepare it, and then other people just don't have the that. So I had the idea of processing the fish at least to a certain extent, and then the end buyer can have a shorter time to prepare the fish. Okay. So
Fina, would you like to be connected to Sarah?
Sort of like inspired me to push through with the idea, because I had the idea for quite a while, but then because I'm working at Ministry of Fisheries, but in my spare time, I do crafting. So I'm actually concentrated on something else right now, but listening to her has really inspired me to.
Okay, Fina, you are breaking up. I can hear that you are saying that Sarah has inspired you to start with fish, maybe drying it or pickling it, on something to that extent, but to extend the shelf life of fish for Namibians. I will make sure that you get Sarah's contact details so that you can be able to communicate with her and she can further inspire you. You see, Sarah, you have inspired other people on this chat today. Right? I'm so happy that you came and spoke to us, presented your company. And we as Namibians, we are very slow to change. And like Fina said now, she's got this idea for a few years now. And only today when she heard you, she said, now maybe I can think, I can move forward with it. Do you understand? So that's where we as Gen come in. We connect people with people so that they can be the best, that they can do the best that they can. So finally, Nash Jafet, would you like to say who you are and where you're connecting from? We would like to know you as well. Fina, go ahead. Oh, you just muted yourself. It's fine. Okay. The Jafet guy does not want to greet us, but in any case, I thank you very much for Helena, who's still on the call, and Chumfe, Sarah, our guest from Zambia, who presented to us. I have not tasted a banana jam yet, but I can't wait because I love bananas. And I'll make sure that I get some from her place. Thank you, Hagi, for being here. And Jafet, who doesn't want to speak to us. Nero, do you think you learned something today? And Simata, I want to hear from you.
Yes. I learned that hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
Great. Simata?
Come again, ma'am.
Did you learn something from today's meeting? We call it meetups.
Yes.
And
yes,
what was
the
that?
Culture. You need to have the culture should be something which can help a business grow.
Great. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And next 2 weeks' time, okay, Sarah, I'll allow you to speak now, and Gershwin as well. Okay, so I'll stop with my thank you. Gershwin, you go ahead, and then after that, Sarah.
Hi, ma'am. Yes, I just wanted to find out, when you get the contact details of all these brilliant minds, will you also share it with us via email? Because I'm very interested in Teresia from Cameroon, Lucia with idea, and Sarah from Zambia. Because I'm looking also.
There's another lady from Zimbabwe also. She's dropped off now.
Right. Yes, I'm very much looking forward to expanding to other countries as well. And I think these will be good points of origin for me.
Oh, okay. No, great. Thank you, Gershwin. I'll make sure that you get it. Okay, Sarah, Chumfe.
Hi, Mr. Anna. Thank you so much. I think firstly, I wanted to respond to, is it Fina's query?
Yes.
So I don't know if she managed to get a screenshot of my contact details, but if there's a way she can reach out to, if she doesn't, maybe if there's a way she can reach out to you directly and you connect us, that would be great. I'll be so much happy to help her because I've had people who've helped me and organizations that came on board to just teach me different processing and preserving techniques, and I'll be happy to share that knowledge with her. I have some material, a lot of books that I received, and some soft copy modules as well that I would be happy to share with her and see if that can help her as well. And maybe just on your end as well, you know, we thank God for our Javepa, because now we can send stuff to Namibia and Zimbabwe and Cameroon and Botswana. So everyone will be able to test Zambian products, and likewise on our end as well.
Yeah, and I wanted to say this earlier. Zambian kwacha is almost on par with the Namibian dollar. So if you see the price in Namibian dollar, you will know that they will, it's just like a few cents difference between the two. It was not like that before. Okay, and then finally, our guest from Cameroon, Teresia. She has been such a wonderful guest here.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Joanna. It's been really awesome joining you here, you all here today for this first session. I missed the first one. So this is my very first, and I'm so, so glad. I would love to keep connecting with us all so we can keep doing great in our various communities. As I said, I'm Achot Torres, the Tengening founder of Power of a Woman's Smile. And because we believe when a woman smiles, the children smiles, the husbands, the family, the community, and the world smiles at large.
Yeah.
So we are into empowering relationships and marriages, every sector of relationship, of empowering your marriage and relationship, be it health, be it entrepreneurship, be it home management, financial management, business inclined, homekeeping, family ties, parenting. In fact, we are into all of that to make sure, because when there is a break or when there is failure in any of the sectors, the home can or the family cannot be in peace. So we are there to give peace to families, to spouses, to children, our community, and the world at large.
Thank you,
it's
Teresia.
been a pleasure.
Now my other volunteer, Hagi, would you like to say something? Because I've given, finally, Hagi, I've given everybody opportunity to speak almost. You had an opportunity while everybody who's still on the call were not there yet.
No, I've just got just some few words. I always like joining part of this platform, hearing from everybody, this new businesses, ideas coming across. Definitely just want to reiterate what Gershon said, just to share those contacts. It's always a wonderful platform that we can always have this connection to everybody. No, but I also want to thank you, Ms. Kluter, also just for inviting me, for letting me be a part of this journey as well. So I've just got the thanks.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, again, Hagi, and I hope you guys will be there all the time. Like when I retire, there will be Elena taking things forward, and that's then also up to you to support her like you were supporting me. A good day to you, and stay safe, please, because every morning when I wake up and I open my phone, I find another message of someone who is gone. So please be responsible and stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye,
Thank
Simata.
you, and you see too.
Bye, Teresa.
Good health, peace,
Thank
love
you.
to you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.